Yo, what's goody, family? Welcome to the Devil's Advocate with Ace Anderson and Akron Watson, where we're making the best case for the guiltiest pleasure.
Get the fuck out of here.
Niggas what she said.
Wow.
She wanted to be absent.
Damn.
Yeah, we already together.
I think that's a
Man,
sign,
ask
nigga.
anybody, there are no benefits to abstinence.
Just productive and feeling good, waking up at 7 a.m., living in my truth and listening to folks sing and eat. So, we already started our vegan food, One Great Vegan is here. Also excited about that. She's actually like BTSing right now. Like that means behind the scenes. And if you just saw the camera shake, that was One Great Vegan, baby. But yeah, man, I'm also like concerned, like mad concerned. Like I saw Wolverine get on his Instagram today and talk about one thing.
Yeah.
Which was Seaspiracy.
Seaspiracy, yo.
So Wolverine says that when Hugh Jackman says we gotta listen, y'all, we gotta listen. That's a national treasure, all right. But yeah, man, I'm like concerned. I was having conversations about Seaspiracy all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Peter
reached out.
That's cool. Like
man.
I posted about Seaspiracy, man, one time after we talked about it. We talked about it last week, so we are gonna come back and talk about it. And then I posted one time, man, and the only comment under that post was Peter, man. So shouts out to Peter for like bringing even more awareness to what we're trying to talk about, which is this amazing film. Seaspiracy is I'm just gonna jump right into it, y'all. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about Seaspiracy. We're talking about sustainability. We're talking about efforts at saving all animals, but especially fish, because saving fish is the human thing to do. Like, before we get into all the reasons why it would help us, let's just baseline it by saying that fish have feelings.
Word.
They're sentient beings.
Yeah.
Right? These are things that like I know that my fam don't talk about when we eating catfish at the crib in Texas. We're not talking about fish having feelings, We're not talking about where the fish came from. Did they come from sustainable places? So we finna get into all that, y'all, with our black asses. So let's go. For real. Like, let's go.
So I guess the first question is, why haven't you seen that shit?
Man, okay, so let's describe it, right? Let's describe it real quick. Seaspiracy is a deep dive into the global fish industry, not just in America, the global fish industry. The film is a Netflix documentary about a man's search for sustainability and his efforts for better living conditions for fish. That journey leads him to secrets, corruption, lies, greed, starvation, y'all, and a crucial, undeniable fact that could and should change the world.
Word.
Right?
It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, man. The homie is like born again vegan. You feel me? Like 100%.
I've seen the
light. And so he hit me with the idea to like, hey man, let's talk about Seaspiracy. And I hadn't seen it yet, y'all. So I really was just kind of like listening to my homie. This is a smart guy, man, and a blessed man too. So, if he tells me like to watch something, I'm gonna put it on my list. But I put it at the top because he seemed serious and he kept bringing it up. So 2 days went by before I watched it. By the time I did, we talking like Wednesday. By freaking Friday, I was like, oh yeah, this needs to be at the top of everybody's list.
Yeah.
So
100%, man.
Why haven't you seen it? Is just like the very first question. Why haven't you seen it?
Why haven't you seen it? Let's ask yourself that. What is stopping you from seeing it? We want to see in the comments below. We'll take a look at the chat as you guys are as we're going through the show today. We want to open up some areas for you guys to participate. And so one of the ways that you'll be able to participate is for our final segment of the show, Pick Your Poison, where you guys get to decide exactly what our topic is. So I want you guys to be leaving comments right now. Give us some suggestions about what you want our topic for next week to be, and we will legitimately choose something from what you guys talk about. And so that gives a little bit of room for you all to be able to participate in what we got going on here today. So so first off, I guess we should start off with our weekly affirmation, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So we'll just dive into that segment of the show. All right.
Cool, man. So the spirituality part of the section of the show has started, and the affirmation is like the first part. You know, just to put everything in order for y'all. We got this new format. You know, it feels good to us. Hope it feels good to you.
Word. In our experimentation of like what we've been trying to do with this show, it's been evolving every week, and so we're so happy to know that you guys have been joining us and staying with us as we develop and shift things. And you know, we're in different cities and different states every week, and so thank you guys for bearing with us as we are in this experimental phase. I feel like the first 6 months of any show is like the new way, like we're just trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, I mean when you're doing it yourself, heck yeah.
Word, self-producing everything. Word. So what we got for our affirmation this week?
So our show split up into 3 sections, y'all. Just I gotta reiterate it. We gotta just make sure we just drill it in. We gotta make sure. So our show split up into 3 sections: spirituality, art, and sex. Right? These are the 3 core things of our lives. You feel me?
That's so the way we like to bring it. Like it's just a good balance of like getting to talk about everything. You know, this is the Taboo Talk Show. We make the best cases for the guiltiest pleasures, and we feel like those are the core elements of discussion, right? Like when you ask somebody, "Hey, how are you doing spiritually?" You know, we want to know how you're doing in your soul. How's that grounding you? We also want to know, how's your creative life? What are you working on? What's your passion? What's next for you? Right. And then also we want to get to the juicy, what's your sex life like? What's going on in your sex life? Where's the romance coming from? And that's what gives you the most connection.
And remember that this show was built from us having conversations, and this is how we talk. Oh man, you know, here's what Jesus did, but also I seen this girl. You know, like this is us trying to let y'all in. So we're in the spirituality section of our show, and for our weekly affirmation, it comes from our favorite book. You Are Badass.
Yes.
By Jen Sincero. Make sure Jen Sincero. And this week's weekly affirmation says, most people are living in an illusion based on someone else's beliefs. Direct quote from this book. Let me show it to you again.
Yo, you are a badass.
Most people are living in an illusion based on someone else's beliefs. It's obviously so relevant to what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Because I'm sure that for most of us, let's just start by saying that we think that fish contain omega fatty acids. That's why we will never stop buying fish. It's one of the right. It got trained into us by commercials and hearsay. Oh yeah, well you need those. What do they call them? Omega blah blah blah. From fish. He's like, I can't stop. I'm gonna stop eating fish. And let me just debunk that real quick and tell you that comes from the food that they eat. So you're kind of eating the middleman.
Yeah,
you could get that same vitamin times 10 by just eating what they eat.
Facts. It's crazy when you think about it. Like the fish are getting all of the nutrients and everything that they need, from plants. And so why don't we just eat the plants instead of eating the process in order to get, like, it doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. And we're slaughtering our oceans in order to get something that we think is necessary, but the plants, the fish are getting it from plants in the first place. So
had to go and pop that trailer up for y'all just in case y'all ain't seen it. I hope y'all can take a little gander. This is the trailer for Seaspiracy. Man, I'm just learning so much, y'all. I want y'all to know too, I'm straight from Texas. So like, dig that I used to eat everything. I mean, I'm talking about from the rooter to the tutor of every animal. Pigs, fish, birds. I'm talking about squirrel, duck, geese. I'm on it. Okay. Yeah. We used to go out and hunt it. All right. And so for me, it feels like an awakening, because I did think that being a pescatarian was gonna be the answer for me. You know, it was like, oh, okay, I'm getting rid of these dirty beefs and these dirty porks and all these things that are like hurting the atmosphere, and then also, hurting animals. But I really did think that fish was safe. I thought that there was this safe, sustainable way to get fish. But we'll get into sustainability. We always have 2 questions for our sections. We're still in the spirituality section. Remember, this week's affirmation is most people are living in an illusion based on someone else's beliefs.
What does that mean to you?
For me, especially in this context, it's the fact that, like, when I hear about food, especially things that I've grown up with, it's trained into us because we're kids, because it's prepared for us. And that also shows, a miseducation for our parents, and just a miseducation for the nation, that we live in, that it is as easy to pick up tortured fish as it is to pick up banana or tomato at the grocery store. And there are organizations like the National Fish Institute, I think it's called NFI, that will defend their methods by saying things like, oh, well, this gives people jobs. It's an industry, and that industry brings in food that comes to my house via my parents. So my belief was that fish was safe. I used to hear things about pig all the time, that like pork wasn't good. And then I started to hear things about beef, but I never heard anything about fish. Fish was always the safe thing that I could eat. Fish didn't feel. They got them big old beady eyes and no brains, right? Can't be no brains in a little thin fish, right?
Foolishness, yeah.
And so that's what it means to me, is these beliefs that I built. It's that thing where we are all walking around products of how we were raised. And it's that serious, y'all. It really is that serious, that some of us are not looking in the mirror and being like, what is this that I believe? What is this that was told to me that I haven't went and gone and done research myself? Like this woman. What a great segue to this woman right here.
Wow. Telly did a YouTube video. She is a marine biologist. She did a YouTube video debunking Seaspiracy. She calls herself a marine biologist, and yet she was unable to provide any factual evidence to her claims of debunking. Zero. And in fact, the shit that she brought up didn't make any fucking sense. Like, who is paying you, Telly?
Look, check her necklace.
Look at this necklace, yo. This necklace that she is wearing is a stingray.
And the funny thing is what I think she does too, bro, is I feel like she says that he's right so many times. Yes. As she's debunking, but there's debunked like splashed across her cover of her video. So she got 40,000 views. This is a marine biologist. It's irresponsible is what it is.
Completely irresponsible.
It's irresponsible. You're taking your status, your title, and you're leading people in the wrong direction about something that is crucial to our survival as human beings, just like off top. Like one of the first facts it says is that like if we kill the oceans, we are killing 85% of what makes our oxygen. 85% of our oxygen comes from the water, and we are killing everything. Like I just
destroying it.
That's just in like the first 10 minutes of the So, believe what you would like to believe. I'm not even here to try to change your mind. only thing that it did for me was educate me as to what's happening outside of Texas, what's happening outside of America. You know, it's a global industry, y'all. But yeah, here's a woman here trying to debunk it,
trying her damnedest, yo,
by calling him right and by referring people to her friends' debunkings so that they could all share in these views, but their views are irresponsible
completely.
And obviously, we're not about that here at the Devil's Advocate. So, man, I gotta get into these questions, man. Okay, all right, cool. So,
the very first question: who are the real enemies, yo? Who are the real enemies? The big companies or gluttonous society? What do you feel, Ad? Which one is the bigger enemy?
To me, I feel like we are a gluttonous society, period. And I think that rich people wouldn't be rich if we weren't so gluttonous. And so I have to look in the mirror all the time and just be like, what can I do? And that's not enough of what we do. I think that we look, especially now, y'all, we in a pandemic still. Whatever you like to believe, we're still in a pandemic. And it's like when we're at home getting these suggestive messages like what you're watching right here, you know, this woman making suggestions without facts, you know, baseless suggestions. We're allowing people to lead our decisions. And so something like Seaspiracy is trying to help you make a better decision. But our instinct, that's another thing too, right? Like that you see a lot of our human instinct in the show.
Yeah.
In the docuseries, in the what is it? A
documentary?
documentary? Yeah. I mean, to me, it's like life-changing, but it's a documentary, and you see some of our basic instincts, which is to be bloody and to kill and to have something to kill. And I don't think it's every culture's instinctual thing to do. I think it's something that was brought up in certain cultures, and though I am sensitive to it, I don't think that it's sustainable.
It's clearly not. There's not a way to extract on a large scale wildlife from the earth and make it sustainable. It doesn't make any sense, yo. You have to, in order to have a grown fish, a grown animal, the animal has to grow up. The animal has to live a long, healthy life, right? If you kill it, then you got to wait for that animal to grow up again, right? Before you can eat it again. So if you kill all the adults, for instance, we kill all the adults, we're just going to be like, oh, okay, we can find a sustainable way to make adults again. Like, how the fuck does that work? Where do the adults come from?
Well, you let Telly tell
Apparently.
Apparently, another species of adults will come in and take place of the species that we just wiped out.
So it's fine if we wipe out one species, another species will just replace it. That's sustainable. That's the exact definition of it. Sustainable.
That's what she said.
That's literally what she says in this video. Telly's marine life was, yo, don't listen to this chick, man.
I'm gonna take her video down, but
who's paying you?
She said, and that's another thing too, is that we do have entities. Yes, I think if we go back to the question, who's the real enemy here? We have two enemies here. One is, yes, there are corporations out there who are funding more than just, I mean, it's basic terrorism, y'all. Like they are taking food out of the mouths of some of the African coast, right? For all my brown people who might be listening, they're taking food straight out our mouths. So when you see movies with Tom Hanks and there's a black man like I'm the captain now. Of course he the captain.
He trying to feed his family, yo, because these battleships are taking all of their food, yo. They're taking all the fish, mopping up the oceans, plundering the African continent, and then calling them the criminals because they're trying to they're like, fuck it, we gonna just take over the ship then. Like, you know, y'all not gonna leave no fish for us. Our families are starving. Our families are dying. The fish, our oceans are dying, and we can't live with a dead sea. So y'all are killing everything in these giant fucking battleships designed to kill and slaughter all of us. But we're the enemy? Fuck y'all, yo. I'm gonna get in my little canoe, you know, get my band of brothers together. We gonna hop on this damn ship and take over, man. So for me, man, I feel like the greedy companies are the big enemies, man.
Yeah.
Like, because, all right, many hands make light work. So of course, if the society can get its act together, then we can combat the greedy companies, right? But so the byproduct of the greedy companies creating all of this competition to plunder our world, plunder the earth, then it leaves room for a greedy, a gluttonous society to say, oh, like that's the thing, you know, the greedy companies are right. Like, let's follow the greedy companies. What they're telling us is the thing that we need to be eating and the thing that we need to be consuming. But it starts from the fact that the greedy companies have started being greedy in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, fuck it. We want more money. We want more. We don't care who we have to kill. We're creating jobs, and the jobs are more important than anything else. That doesn't make any fucking sense. So the greedy companies, man, it starts there, yo. These companies, there's fewer companies than there are people, right? People in a society. So when it comes to having these companies, bro, I feel like those need to be taken down.
I agree, man. No. Here's the thing, though. This is why the show's called The Devil's Advocate, right? Because I agree with you. I would just say that, and they would not be able to exist if they could not predict the ways in which we buy food. They are literally
so they know us.
They're counting on us to be gluttonous. They're counting on us to be lazy. I'm done with that, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm done with being lazy about what I put in my body, right? You're talking about cancer killing 1 out of 3 people, y'all. Go look it up, Google it, y'all. And it boils down to what we are putting in our bodies every day. Also, salmon is not pink, it's gray. Look that up too.
So the pink salmon that you buy is actually just food coloring.
What's that thing? What's your favorite fish? Don't tell me it's salmon.
You just buying painted fish.
You just bought some painted fish.
Which moves us to our next question, man. Why the fuck are we so comfortable destroying the earth, man?
I'm gonna say this. I feel like we don't look at animals as feeling pain. We don't look at them as people that we share the earth with. So it's a quote that I love. And here's the National Fishers Institute, y'all, NFI, and they look it up. They preemptively tried to plan a strike against
the movie,
against Seaspiracy. It's serious, y'all. Like the institute of 200 companies, 75% of the fish industry. So that's basically the fish industry. 75% of the fish industry got together and was like, "What we gonna do about Seaspiracy?"
And they didn't even watch it. They said the movie was bad and full of lies, and they released that statement before the movie even came out. All that existed of the movie was a trailer. So they preemptively are talking about the movie is false before even watching the movie. Don't that sound fishy? No pun intended.
That was good though. Damn, that was good. But why are we so comfortable with destroying the earth, right? I think that we're so comfortable with doing it is just because the quote that I was about to give you from the movie is that look at the earth as like a spaceship, and we are floating around, going from space to space. We don't feel it moving, but we're definitely a spaceship in space,
orbiting the galaxy.
We need crew members in order to run the ship. We are crew members. The animals are crew members. As we continue to kill our crew members, y'all, we're not gonna have enough people to run the ship. they have their part.
Mhm.
So even if you don't want to look at it like, oh, we share the earth and oh, they feel pain too, and like, oh, we have a connection. Look at it like this: if you kill enough of them, we will not be able to survive
because we don't got nobody to run the ship.
You're killing the crew members.
Yeah, like they are designed to do their job, right? So efficiently in how they move the oceans in terms of water, making warm water rise so that has enough plankton to feed other animals, like other wildlife. So if we're extracting one wildlife, we're completely offsetting the balance of life. In our main purpose, talking about spirituality, our main purpose on this earth is to be the gardeners. We're supposed to be the shepherds of the earth. Shepherds can't live by killing their sheep. Doesn't make any sense. And you don't live by killing the lion either. You just protect your sheep from the lion. So if you kill off the, like, it just you completely offset the balance, and you can't make a garden like that. You cannot make a garden by offsetting the balance. And we're the gardeners of the earth.
And it's the thing too, I feel like we think that we're apex predators. And so we look at ourselves like we need to defend our belief system at all costs, right?
Yeah.
So if the sharks are killing the fish, then we got to go kill the sharks, right? Because we're the apex predators. We're the ones who matter the most, right? Well, if you think that way, if you think that you can just continue to destroy this planet because, like, oh, we can just move to another planet, right? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking about all them rich people who are about to go to Mars. Right? You're thinking about all those people who are like, oh, we're going to find another place to live. This is why. It's because we see ourselves as kings of the universe rather than as people who, as beings. Right. That's why we call ourselves human beings, y'all. As a race of things that coexist with other races of things. It's the reason that we can't eat certain animals, because they'll literally kill us, because we're not supposed to eat every damn thing.
Yo, and here's the crazy thing about the plundering the oceans, especially plundering the African continent. What happens there is we're forcing all of these people to find other means of food. And because we as a human race have been brainwashed to think that we need to eat animals, we're forcing these smaller cultures, these smaller countries in Africa to go and eat untraditional animals like monkeys, which is why you have a widespread Ebola outbreak in Africa. So it's all connected. It's all connected together.
It's the reason that people started eating bats, which they say created
COVID. It's the exact same thing. Like, and we do not need to be eating animals, y'all. Like, it's fucking crazy.
But it's not a need,
we don't
right?
Need it.
It's not a need, right? It's a want.
It's a want.
It's a want.
And that is where it is. That's why we're so comfortable, because it's like, I want it. We're the kings and queens of the earth. I want to eat whatever the fuck I want to eat. Yeah. And it's a delicacy. It's a status symbol for me to eat shark fins. I don't give a fuck. You know, I want to eat this blue fish or whatever the fuck the most expensive, like $1 million fish.
And it's funny too, because I feel like it's funny too, because as we kind of sort of, you know, share space with this content, it feels to me like we're always going to make excuses for each other to do things. We're especially now, we live in an age where we're all kind of excusing each other's behavior. Yeah. You know, like, oh, this person does this because of this, and like we just want to be accepting of it. But how long are you going to accept people that you can't see, that you don't know who they are? I mean, the sea shepherds do, but like you don't know who's destroying your earth. And you won't know why your grandkids won't have a place to live. You're just hoping that they will. And then what I love is some people's mindset who are like, you know, well, if it's our time, it's our time. I'm not saying that that's not correct, but your time gonna come a lot quicker if you don't do something about it. Your time gonna come. You keep smoking cigarettes.
I mean, that's the crazy thing. Like, we all know we're gonna die. We all know we're gonna die. So you recognize that your life is about staving off death as far into the future as possible, because it's inevitable. Like, I'm gonna die, I get it, but wouldn't it be great if I could achieve something better than how I got here, right? Like leave the world in a better condition than it was when I first made it to the planet.
And there's an opportunity for us, y'all, to coexist with animals. There's an opportunity.
I mean, bro, plants are created for us to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Every plant is like all our cures come from plants. I don't know if you recognize that. Like the major cures, you know, that cayenne pepper can stop a heart attack, right? Like can stop a heart attack.
I know that.
Yes, man. These types of things like are designed to heal us in the earth. So if we focus our attention towards the plants, which is what we should be eating in the first place, right? We can understand because the plants are the core. The trees are the reason why we're here, why we're big and strong. That's what gave us refuge. Right, even when we were connected to the little squirrel-looking things, like back our ancient ancestors, they're like little squirrels. They look like little squirrels, but they lived in trees, right? Like, and that like trees are our refuge. We need plants, man. So we go back to plants, especially with how intelligent we are now and the level of technology. If we understand, if we could look at trees and the way that they're able to communicate with each other, like trees have a whole entire network underground. They are connected.
Let's not even talk about mushrooms who have neurons just like the brain.
Yep. Bro, don't even want.
Let's not even talk about mushrooms, which are closely connected.
And then
to the human
think
brain.
about coral.
Yeah.
Think about coral, seafood, plant seafood, right? Plant seafood, not just seafood, but it tastes like seafood, but it's plants from the sea. That if all the fish are eating that to stay nourished and healthy, that's the core. The ocean existed billions of years before the land existed. So trees are actually a less sophisticated version of the plants in the ocean.
I don't know why I keep looking at this mic. This is incredible. Shouts out to what is this? Chaotica?
Coyotica?
I think it's Chaotica.
Chaotica?
Yo, y'all come sponsor us, yo.
Yeah, come through. This shit is dope.
This shit is lit. This shit is live. But man. I love that you said that about the seafood, because in Seaspiracy they advertise some literally just out of nowhere they just start advertising shrimp, plant-based shrimp. That shit look good as hell.
That shit looks so good, bro. That shit looked so delicious. It's called
like Nature's Love or something like that. Y'all gotta see Seaspiracy, man.
Yeah,
like, they got plant-based shrimp, y'all. Like
plant.
I think I'm done with meat. Like I am done with. I'm vegan, but like. Maybe you could be done with me too. Yeah, man. It's and that's what I really liked about it. It felt like the message wasn't so much about you have to go vegan, but it was like clear that this is really the only option. Like what else? What else is there? The fact that we are eating the fish is the problem. That is the problem, yo. All right, man. Well, you know, I feel like we touched on that a little bit. You know, we getting in the groove, y'all. Word. Imagine what this is gonna be like in like 2 months. Yeah. Boom. Boom. It is time, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for our show, Spirituality, Art, and Sex. Are we doing a reel this week? You want to show something? We can, if you want. How you want to do it? I mean, we can show any of our projects. You know, what do you want to do? Our stuff. Something. Let's show. Let's show the video from. No, I think we should jump in. I think we should jump in. I think we should jump in. I think we should jump in because we're on a roll. We're talking about Seaspiracy.
I want to bring my homeboy up. Let's just go right into the questions, y'all. Y'all down?
Mm-hmm.
So we in the art section, and question number one for me, because I'm an artist, is what can we do as artists to make a difference? What can I do as one person to make a difference who happens to be an artist? I don't know that I have to make art, right? This is just my opinion. I think that I can make waves, first of all, in my own, make waves, no pun intended. I think I can make waves in my own life first, which will allow for other waves to be made in other people's lives. Mm-hmm. That was how I got to Seaspiracy. Something made a wave in his life, which then made a wave in my life. I had 2 conversations about this over the weekend. I met with a guy named John Michael. Shouts out to John Michael if you're watching, bro. Wonderful dancer, amazing singer, amazing artist. We talked about Seaspiracy for an hour and a half because he's a vegan. He's in great shape. He's conscious. He's awoke in so many different ways, right? We just sitting up having a conversation in LA as 2 artists, and he's like, man, what can we do? I don't know what to do. I felt the same way. I feel the same way. But I will say that when I start making waves in my life, it feels right. That feels right. It feels right to be like, well, I don't have to eat this fish if nothing else, just because I don't want to hurt another living thing. I don't want to hurt another like sentient being. So that feels right. And then to be able to pass on that message easily feels like something I can do. So you can, I feel like you can start with yourself. And then if you have any sort of platform, because we all as artists do, watch the film, take what you can from it, and just put it out into the atmosphere, however you see fit. That one thing could be the difference between somebody deciding to be vegan, somebody deciding to save a fish's life, somebody deciding to like take money out of the fish industry's hands, which we need to do. That's subsidized, y'all. So it doesn't matter if you truly just pull all your finances. You get your whole neighborhood to pull their finances. If you pay your taxes, you're still supporting
the fish industry.
For the fish industry. Because that's subsidized. Oh, it's evil, y'all. It's evil. So it's
the only way to do it is to starve them out.
You gotta
don't eat them. Don't eat fish. Don't eat fish. So that's the only way. That is literally the only way. It's the only way. No, you could search and you can try to search. Nope, it's the only way. It's the only way.
I will also say that if you are big and strong and feel like going to work for the Sea Shepherds,
bruh, yes, man. The Sea Shepherds look like fucking badasses, yo. I mean, they are actually badass.
Right.
But wouldn't it be dope if like that was the new sports of the future? You know, like we get to watch the Sea Shepherds take down enemies.
I definitely want to see them do stuff.
Hell yeah. Like watch them. Oh shit, they taking down another ship. Oh, there were slaves on this shit. You know, Sea Shepherds saved like fucking 40 slaves yesterday. Like, that would be headlining news. That should be dope.
Yeah, we talking about them. Just the fact that we talking about them, they're of interest. Like we could be watching them as we talking about a reality show. Like, there's so much stuff that could be. I mean, I could see Sea Shepherd video games.
Hell yeah.
The Sea Shepherds are an organization literally built to protect our seas. They are volunteer. This is not the U.S. Navy. These are volunteers coming up and saying, I want to be, I want to make a difference. Some of them are ex-U.S. Marines, but they're out at sea and they're not harming people. They are ramming their ships into other ships that are scraping the ocean floor.
Trawling is what they call it.
Trawling with nets big enough to encompass houses. You could put 8 jumbo jets into these nets. They're catching that many fish a day, y'all.
And then we fucking just discarding that shit into the ocean.
Right. Whatever. There's called, what's it called? Bycatch. Anything that they catch that they don't like. I'm talking sharks. I'm talking dolphins. I'm talking whales. I'm talking birds. Sea turtles. There used to be like 7 versions of sea turtles, y'all. It's like 1 now because we're wiping them out. Anyways, so what can you do as an artist? I would say make art that fits our current situation.
Yeah, man. Talk about it. Just
be
talk
truly
about it
conscious.
in your art.
Be truly conscious to what's going on. First of all, by opening your eyes the way my eyes have been opened, and then make a decision to put it in your art, whether it be a podcast or whether it just be a post, man. You know, just putting up a couple of, the same way you posted about Lil Nas.
Right. Exactly. 100%, yo.
Next question is art even activism? Now we just took the question and broke it down.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You know, this is interesting. This is an interesting question because last year, in light of George Floyd's murder, I released a poem called I Am a Man because I just felt like I had to do something. Like it was actually before all the protests happened. It was like, I just felt called to write a poem. And normally for me, writing poems takes a really long time. Like I'm kind of afraid to do it sometimes. It just takes so much because I want it to be right. And I wanted to say exactly what I wanted to say.
So much to say.
Yeah, so much. And I knew I wanted to record it like next week. And I knew that I wanted to, you know, film it in a certain way, but I didn't know how. And I knew I had to memorize it. And I had to not only write it, but I have to memorize this damn poem and all of this shit. So anyway, I put my whole week into it. And finally, I was like, I'm going to do it tonight. Made it happen. And I released it on June 1st, on Monday, June 1st. It, like, for me, you know, in terms of my numbers, it went viral. Like everybody shared it, you know, like all my friends, all my followers, like, you know, it's got like 40,000 views and like 100,000 shares on Facebook. And what was really cool is that it felt like for the first time, you know, I was writing about our time in such a way that was really effective. And I was doing it my way. Like, you know, it was my own poetry. This is how I write poetry. It was nothing inauthentic about like the format of this poem. And so it felt so real to me. And I was really happy about it for like 2 weeks, you know, and then everybody's like, we got to go out and protest. We got to go out and march. We got to go out and march. And this is, you know, obviously during the time of coronavirus. So for the last 3 months, they've been telling everybody, stay inside. The best thing you can do is stay inside, stay inside, stay inside. But now, like, everybody's like, you better be outside. You better be at these protests. You better be here. And I was like, and me and my wife were like, you know, we really felt like we did it. We should. It feels too dangerous for us to be out on the front lines. Like, I feel like we're making our voice heard. We're talking about the issue. We're like, you know, what we're saying. And a couple of friends of ours did not have the same sentiment. Like we actually lost friends because they felt like we weren't doing enough for the Black Lives Matter movement. And it's like, me being a Black life does enough for the Black Lives Matter movement. I am the Black Lives Matter movement because I'm Black. What? It doesn't make any sense. So, you know, long story short, we ended up losing friends over that shit. Like, because they felt like our art wasn't enough activism for them. Like, we should have been protesting this way. And that would have been a good way to show. It's like, what? I'm not the enemy. I'm not out here kneeling on somebody's neck. Like that. What? Why are you turning it on me? So to me personally, I feel like art is activism, but I always get now a sour taste in my mouth. Like, what the fuck? Like, okay, if I write a song, that's not enough. Like, literally, somebody told me that. Like, all Ace did was post a video and share it. You know, like, and then sending me fucking prototype other people's websites. This is how your website should look. What the fuck, bitch? You pay for the fucking website. You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out of my face with that stupid shit. So that really kind of pisses me off. Like, when
it's funny, man, because what I hear you saying is almost like that what you did doesn't hold enough gravity. It doesn't have enough. It's not enough almost. It's like you did something, but it's like not enough. And what I always feel about that is that like every person plays their part. And so even the people, what's funny about protesting, right, is that protesting is still just the cover page
Mm,
of the movement.
right.
It is the magazine edition
Right.
of
yeah.
the movement. Seaspiracy is the magazine edition of the movement, because you know who's really running the movement? Sea Shepherd is.
Mm-hmm.
The people on the front lines are running the movement, but there are people who are controlling the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to be a part of the people who are also controlling the other side, the true side, the side that we should all be a part of, that's where artists come in.
Mm-hmm.
Is being able to create a nice cover page for the movement.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that cover page is created by Ace, if it's created by me, if we're doing the cover page, maybe the person who's asking the question or saying that we're not doing enough could be the person that's on the front lines. Or maybe you could land somewhere in between the cover page and the front lines. You know, there are so many different ways that you put together, that you package something that, because believe you me, bro, I feel like they are packaging the other side so well.
Yeah. Facts.
You know,
Facts.
if you look at,
I mean, they got billions of dollars behind their marketing plans and budgets and all of this. Yeah, like,
and I promise you, they are working in one accord. They have one goal. We're over here fighting about how we can be activists.
you know what's so interesting that you really just highlighted for me is that the people on the bad side are all on the capitalistic. They have the money and the resources, so they're taking over the job market, right? Because like, of course, everybody wants to work. Like, I want to get a job. I'm gonna go and work for this organization, and I'm gonna go and work in a cubicle and do my little part, right? That's my part in life, right? But all of the environmentalist organizations and the nonprofits, they all work on a completely different. They're not corporate structure big, you know, like they actually fail to do that very well, but they do the other thing very well, which is protesting. But they don't have the same amount of money and backing because it's not the same capitalistic, the same capital focused mentality. And so what I think is the issue is the fact that the nonprofits are actually nonprofits, right? If these were for-profit industries that were actually helping the earth, like, because money is a motivator. Let's not fucking,
if you make it into one.
Absolutely. But like, if you motivate the good side with money and actual resources and reward them, not in no fucking like, here, write a grant and like, how are you gonna help? And like, no, motherfucker, we need help. Like, give us money. You know what I'm saying? Like, there should be more. Like, I could be rich if I save the world. You know what I mean? Like, that should be the incentive. If I fucking save the world, I can be fucking rich. You know, as opposed to if I cheat as many people as possible, if I deceive as many people, if I'm a shark eat shark, dog eat dog world, and I subscribe to that New York Empire State mentality, then I will win and I'll be the big dog. That's the narrative that we tell about money. But money is actually a currency, a resource that could actually be used for good. It's actually really helpful when you think about money and capitalism and how it makes things cheaper and makes it so that we can all afford fucking iPhones and technology and all of this stuff that would cost us fucking years of our life and fucking billions of dollars to make. If I wanted to have my own iPhone, you know what I'm saying? So capitalism really helps, but it's not on the side of the good. That's really the issue.
And I think that especially in a society where many of us are not sharing in certain types of wealth, you know, I think that there are certain countries who have a wealth of something. You know, it may be a wealth of a certain type of animal or a certain type of this or that, whatever their export is. For those of us who don't share in that certain type of wealth, we are unaware and sometimes unallowed to know about the ways in which we are losing, you know, and the ways in which people that we are closely connected to, you know, again, there are whole coast of brown people who are starving because we are taking all of their fish. So if you don't want to look at it from the aspect of, which I think you should look at it from the aspect of fish have feelings. Like, I just want to make a song called Fish Have Feelings because they just feel differently. Like, you know, you can try to say, oh, they're pain receptors and not, but
I mean, they have a neurosystem that's basically completely in line with all of their movements in the ocean. That's why they can communicate with each other and move at a moment's
It's why they can create. It's why we can communicate with them. It's why they can communicate with us. Like, come on, y'all. Like, they can think. Like, how you gonna teach a fish how to do all these different things? You know how they're gonna move. They got patterns and all. But then you're gonna be like, of course they don't feel pain. That is just, and this is a direct quote from Seaspiracy. It is just like it is an excuse for us to do barbaric things to innocent animals.
Mm-hmm.
We are constantly making excuses for us to do barbaric things to innocent freaking. I gotta have a halibut today, And so you go and buy a halibut, and you don't know where it came from or what the halibut been through. Did the halibut have chlamydia? Which fish can have chlamydia, by the way, which I just learned. Like, fish die of chlamydia, especially salmon.
It's fucking gross, man. That shit is so fucking disgusting. And you know what's crazy too? I mean, in terms of the societal thinking, our narrative, like, when I told my dad I was going vegan, he was like, "Oh, that sounds great, son. But and I could probably give up cheese and dairy, but like, I can't give up my fish. I can't give up my fish. No, I can't give up the fish." And it's like, why?
It's tradition, man. I think it's tradition, and I think for some people to give something up so precious as something that they. Some of us have orgasmic reactions to food, and I feel you 100%. But
if you had one great vegan's food,
I was just about to say, like, there's a woman sitting right over there where she changed her life. I'm telling you.
Word. And speaking of ladies changing our lives, I think it's time for the flavor of the week, y'all. Yes, it's time, yeah.
Flavor of the week. It's the flavor of the week. Man, that girl is the flavor of the week, baby.
Let's go.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. This is my favorite section of the show where Akron and I can talk about one lovely lady who has been stealing our Instagram likes.
He's excited. You know why he's excited? Because he married. You know what I'm saying? It's like he bagged a baddie, but like,
I get to talk about somebody else. Word. So who want to go first? You want me to go first or you?
I'll go first because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I just sort of happened upon this woman. She has no connection to Seaspiracy. She has no connection to Seaspiracy. She is completely connected to my heart. Okay? Like the inside of my heart. Yes, I saw this woman on Instagram and was like, "Oh my gosh, she looks amazing." And should I just mirror my screen? Should I pull up here?
No, I'm gonna pull her up on the screen here. But
her name is Sydney Christine, and Sydney spelled with a C and a Y. If y'all want to check her out, CYDNEY, Christine, beautiful young woman. She's just sort of my prototype. I feel like after what has it been, like 3 months at this point, y'all kind of know what prototype is. It's almost generic to say in the sense that, like, I feel like a lot of young men admire women like this, but yes, she is a bit fair skinned, and yes, she does have green eyes. Okay, but she's a hottie.
We're pulling her up.
She's a hottie, and I was like, yes, why not just have a good old fashioned traditional hottie this week?
Yes,
and for the record, a lot of the hotties I've met have been vegan, y'all. Just saying. I meet a lot of dancers though, also. But
all right.
This is Sydney Christine. Is this her?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she just be changing, switching up her. Oh no! Oh. No, she's just cute. She's just cute. I saw her on Hitmaker's page. I follow Hitmaker because he be making hits. I also follow Eric Bellinger. So I was, Eric Bellinger's page, and I was on Hitmaker's page trying to figure out who this woman is. If y'all know who Hitmaker is, he used to be called Young Berg, I think. But he's now called Hitmaker, and he's got some of the most beautiful women just like hanging around him sometimes, like in his camp. And so, you know, I follow
So
him
you
for the
want to be
music.
Hitmaker?
I want to be Hitmaker, honestly. Like, he looks like he works 26 hours out the day. Like, I love my life, man. I love to be able to go in, do my acting thing, come home and chill. Hitmaker be making hits, boy. Shouts out to that, man. I just want to work with you one time, my brethren. But he definitely has the baddies just like around, man. So shouts out to Sydney Christine. You know, I'm not even gonna say, you know, I hope I meet you one day because I got some game that I just want to try out on you, man.
Beautiful.
Real talk.
All right. So my flavor has a little something to do with Seaspiracy in some way. And so here we go with my flavor of the week, y'all, is Lily Easton. Lily Easton is a she's an Instagram model / actress, and she's a vegan plant activist. And she's gorgeous. She's from Australia, which is kind of cool. And she is, you know, she's my flavor for the week.
That's it. That's it, y'all. That's honestly, that's it. That's it. That's what flavor of the week is. I admire this woman. I admire this woman. That's it.
That's it. Word. But yeah, I think being on a roll, we should just finish up with these last two questions. You know what I'm
man.
saying?
Flavor of the week is an indication that we have moved into our sex section of the show, which means we are on one of our last two sections. And at that sex question, we come up with two questions for each segment. You know, just again, we're trying to push through this new way of doing the show. Question number one in our sex segment: what if she doesn't want to go vegan?
Especially with you being on this journey, right? So you're single.
I'm single.
You're single.
I'm single.
And you are interested in finding the queen.
Yes.
But, you know, are you going to take her if she doesn't want to go vegan?
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we're not talking about if she is like, okay, you know, I'll go, but she's like, nah, like, she's beautiful. She's exactly what you want, but she's like, can't go vegan.
Here's what I think. I think that if I meet somebody that's not vegan, then I get an opportunity to share my beliefs with them. It's just like if I meet somebody who's doing something that I wouldn't do, you know, I'm not going to judge that person straight off top unless what they're doing is against my core beliefs. I don't feel like someone who hasn't learned why they shouldn't eat fish should be judged off top. So therefore, I'm not going to eliminate my chances. So that's that on that. I'm going to date somebody who eats, she could be eating pig snout at the table. Like, I'm going to sit there right with her and enjoy my time with her because I want to know what her background is. I want to know what you know, the same way that I watch Seaspiracy, I want to watch, you know, I watch Fox News sometimes, you know, that's a great example of just like trying to take in what other people believe so that I can be objective. Right. So I'm not going to not date somebody. But I like this question because this question implies that we've already talked about it. She already knows my position on it. And I've tried to wake her up. And she just don't want to do it. That's a sign. Because now we're venturing into like ignorance. We're not no. We're venturing into insanity. We are venturing into almost stupidity. That you can learn something, know something about the world that's going on, and choose to do nothing. You know, it's like those people who refuse to wear masks. Oh, if it's my time, then it's my time, and they venture out into a COVID-filled world and think they're gonna be fine, and then they struggle through COVID or whatever. They lose their taste for a year, or they die. And no shade to those people. That's their set of beliefs. But for me and my queen, for me and my future, as for me and mine, as for me and my house, as the scripture says, we gonna do what's right for our bodies and what's right for the world, what's right for the global community, not just your community, but what's right for all of us. Because within that, to me, is success. Within that, to me, is love. Within that, to me, is a bit of taking on God's righteousness. He wants us to love our fellow man, to love creatures, to love each other, and I believe in him. And so I just believe that if you refuse to show love to fish, if you refuse to show love to people who are starving because we are raping our oceans and taking their fish, then no, I don't want to be with you. So that's that on that. But we gonna have that conversation. It might be date 6 before I'm like, okay, we done talked about it, babe. Right. You know, we done talked about it. We sat down and watched Seaspiracy together. You know, I'm not gonna force you. We just gonna be in there chilling and kissing and stuff, and then randomly Seaspiracy gonna come on because I hit the button while we was kissing. I'm on it. I'm on it.
Oh, that's funny, man. But you know, I like what you said about giving her the opportunity, because what's really nice about being in this relationship with Gabrielle, she's been vegan for years and years, long before I had been vegan. And yet she didn't pressure me to turn vegan. I went vegan myself after just watching her work, right? Like she's cooking food and like the food tastes good. Everything she cooks, I'm not opposed to. I would just like add chicken to it or add fish or whatever it is I'm eating, or add some eggs. But I didn't see it too much as a big deal. She didn't see it too much as a big deal. Sometimes she would even cook for me. Like she would just throw, oh, baby, you want the rest of this bacon, whatever, not, throw that on the pan. And but I think it was the fact that she didn't pressure me, allowed me to just watch and observe her in her life, see how beautiful she was maintaining. She was maintaining her beauty. She was glowing all the time. And then the food was so nourishing. There would be times, like, obviously, if she's cooking a meal and she's going to make food because, she's going to make food for 2, then of course what she makes is going to be vegan. I'm not going to add any meat to it. Like I might just eat it. So I'm eating vegan meals 3 or 4 times out of the week, and I'm not missing meat really in those meals. So then by the time we were together for about a year, and then I watched What the Health, and then it was like, oh, okay, so not only is this helping her body, but we're stopping racism, right? Like, because a lot of the cattle farming was happening in Black communities, and the Black communities weren't able to gather on Sundays for church because they were letting up manure and pesticides into the air specifically on Sunday, despite the fact that the Black communities were asking these cattle farms to stop what they were doing. It was letting out this terrible smell. It's manure. It's fucking shit, cow shit. Then cows, they're not eating grass. They're living in these fucking barren, fucking wastelands essentially, right, and then being fed corn.
We think that like the cows are raised on this like
beautiful green pasture, like when we drive past on the highway, like nah, that's not
farms,
right? That's not what you're fucking eating. Slaughterhouses, all death. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh shit. So if I go vegan, I'm like knocking out all of this shit. Like, it's a shortcut
taking
to
your hand off of it.
Yeah, like, okay, at least I don't have to contribute to that. So not only am I contributing goodness to my body, it's like, wow. And so her giving me the time really allowed me to do that and figure it out on my own, because I feel like if she had pressured me, even up until now, 4 years later, I'd still feel phony about it. Like, oh, I'm not really like, yeah, my wife was like, she made me do it. And But like, no, I really got to figure it out for myself. And so I like that, giving her the benefit, you're not gonna stop and we'll go eat at this restaurant, babe. But like, you can only take that for so long. Like, how long am I gonna tolerate your ignorance, your willful ignorance?
Willful ignorance. I like that. Which is, I think, something that we all fall prey to. Because I know I was doing it for a number of years before I watched this. I didn't want to know. I just didn't want to know because I enjoy fish. I enjoy eggs. I enjoy steak. There are certain things that I enjoy, and I didn't want to give up the things that I enjoy. But my connection to the beings around me is so much more important than my sort of built desires, my lazy desires, because I'm not going out and catching the fish. I'm going to the grocery store, which is something that we as human beings are so used to.
Yeah, we just take for granted, like, especially in Western civilization, we just think like grocery stores exist in nature. Like, I can just walk down, I'm hungry, walk down the street and go to a plethora of food, unlimited food. As long as I have this thing called money, like, I can get whatever the fuck I want in there. That doesn't exist. That doesn't exist in nature. That's new. So for us to take anything in the grocery store for granted is kind of an act of barbarism. It's just like, we're so barbaric just for even thinking that is normal. Like, we can just go and, why isn't there fish anymore? And you're going to take away my, like, what? The fact that there's anything in the grocery store, right, is a miracle.
It's a miracle in itself. Yeah. Yeah. And I think we just, we're a little lazy about where it comes from, what it means. We're just sort of like,
when we're hungry, bro, we got a fridge.
There's a fish here,
right? We're hungry. I can just go to the fridge, right? If there's nothing in the fridge, I can order something. If I can't order something, I walk down the street to a grocery store. And if I can't walk down the street to a grocery store, I can walk to a friend's house and get a meal, right? Like, we don't have to catch our food when we're hungry. Food is there. We can go to a fast food restaurant. Like, it's just there. You know what I mean? That doesn't exist in other countries. So when these Somali pirates have nothing to feed their families because they can't go out into the ocean and catch fish because it's been plundered by these giant battleships, it's like, of course, I am hungry. Do you understand what it's like to be hungry? I can't think. I can't work. I haven't eaten for a couple of days. You know what I'm saying? The last thing I ate was a little monkey arm, and I might now be getting Ebola. You know what I'm saying? And
so you say all that to say, because damn, we say all that to say, like, literally, I'm cool with like dating you, like straight off the top, to me, you being like, you are who you are. Like, I'm not trying to change you. Honestly, I'm not trying to change anyone. I'm just more trying to like be aware myself, and then therefore make other people aware. And if my chosen person doesn't hear me or doesn't share my views, it's not that they're meant to be cut off, but us not sharing views is just sort of like it could be a point of contention in our whole lives. I'm not.
It's an indication that
it's an indication that we might not be on the same page, and like, we don't have to share our beliefs, but that's one that I find like really important. It's why I'm here talking about it, because it's a matter of life and death, y'all. And they use numbers in this movie that like are scary. And I think that if you're not scared by it, or if you're willfully ignorant just for the sake of like, I dated a nurse one time. This is a perfect example. I dated a nurse one time, and I thought she was going to tell me that I shouldn't eat steak anymore. She's a cancer nurse. And so this woman saw people die from cancer every day. That's her job.
Wow.
She is the person that takes care of people as they transition from life into their
terminal illness,
into death. And she told me that she eats everything. She was like, I eat everything. She said, I eat pig, I eat steak, I eat everything. She said, because I'm not going to be on my deathbed talking about, oh, I shouldn't have ate this steak, and oh, I shouldn't have ate this fish. It's not about just your life. It's not about just your life. The fact that she was able to see other people dying and be insensitive to it, or to not take the necessary precautions, or to tell people, well, this is what I tell people, but this is what I do. That's irresponsible, in my opinion, to know something. And then, it's like a preacher finding out that certain parts of the Bible are not true, and then just preaching it to his congregation because it gives them hope. That's irresponsible. There's another way of looking at it. There's another way of working. But if you are lazy enough to accept whatever's given to you, to accept whatever you've learned over the course of your life, no, we cannot date. We can be friends from a distance, but nah, we can't go out. You ain't even got your own views. You don't have your own views. You're just piggybacking off tradition. Speaking of tradition,
we got to go into our
last
question.
Non-traditional. This is a very non-traditional for me. How does going vegan affect your sex life?
ain't having sex.
Oh man, so this is like in a lot of ways, man. I mean, everything that you are is what you eat, right? We know that to be true. What you are is what you eat. So that is the same with your reproductive organs. People that eat milk and dairy and meat have terrible tasting sexual secretions. So like their cum is gross. If you're not vegan, I'm so serious. Like it tastes sour and gross. And same thing with pussy. So pussy is fucking disgusting if you're not vegan. Like and that's why your man don't want to go down on you. So I'm sorry, he don't want to go down on you because your pH balance is off, bro. Because you fucking eating milk, you dairy and meat and pork and all of that shit, yo. Where do you think it goes? Your body can't handle it, so it goes to right. Your body's trying to help you out. It's just smell. It's gonna make it smell and taste gross. I mean, both Gabrielle and I can both vouch for that shit in terms of that. But if you eat plants. If you're eating plants like pineapple, for instance, pineapple makes all of your sexual secretions taste sweet. So if you really want a sweet pussy, ladies, if you want that shit to taste sweet, get some pineapples.
Peter is watching.
Word, well they know, Peter know this is the Taboo talk show, so we talk about it all on here. All right, Peter. So you better get with it.
We're talking about vagina, not cats, okay? We're not talking about cats.
Eat pussy, not animals.
Oh
right?
My god!
But nah, for real. So that's just one aspect of it, right? Mm-hmm. Like Gabrielle has said, she's not willing to sleep with certain people. Like they're just like not vegan. Nah, like it's gross. It's not a fun experience. And I'll say the same thing, man. Like I've smelled women right before you go down. I'm like, nah, man, I'm not fucking doing that shit. And I fucking love going down on women. Like I'm great at it, you know, right? And so if you're not eating well, and I can tell because I can tell in sex, then that to me says like I really only want to mess with people who are healthy, right? Like it makes sex better. It makes for men, it makes your pre-cum, it makes it more what am I trying to say? It creates a lubricant. It creates more of a lubricant that allows you to that's what makes it makes your ability to enter a woman's vagina. It makes it smoother. That's what the pre-cum comes out for. It's not stimulating in the same way. It's not like it's not charged, so it's not active in the same way that your cum is when you actually orgasm. But then also for women, it makes them wetter. Right? If you're vegan, if everything is balanced, think about it, your whole body is in balance, then your vagina is going to be wetter. The pleasure sense is all going to be just joyful, right? And so it tastes good, smells good, everything about it is good. And you know that you're not getting no diseases, right? You fucking work, you're having sex with somebody that you trust them on what they're putting into their body. Because even all your STDs and STIs, all of that stuff is connected to what you're eating. Right, that stuff gets spread, and you're not able to combat a lot of those things because you're continuing to consume the same things, and then you're putting a Band-Aid on it by taking a medication. But you're not stopping the underlying. You're not stopping the cause of it.
I'm glad he said it. I swear to God, bro. I mean, some of the things the words you just used, I'm like, true, but like, dang, my mama's watching. I 100% agree, though. I remember the first time I heard that, I was hanging around a guy who just, for lack of better words, was like the coolest dude I had ever met. And I was not acting full time at the time, so I was working at a customer service hub. Long story long, all the women in this customer service place wanted this guy. And he would talk to me about what he would do with so many women. And he was like, yeah, he said one day, he's like, my cum is sweet or whatever. You know, he was talking to me about, the girl was commenting on the taste of his cum. And I was so fascinated, like, what? How did he make that happen? He was like, man, you gotta have a fruit diet. You gotta have all fruit diet. So I tried it, and I tried it, period. I tried it. And that changed my life, because somebody really cool who was single but was sexually active was like, man, this is like another perk. So it's perk. Yeah. And I know plenty of Black people actually who practice that. Who are like, I want my skin to be this. I want my semen to be this. I want,
it's a great party trick. Yeah, like if you're eating well and you're like, and your skin looks great and you're fucking having great sex and like, you're like, oh my God, how you come to, like, how does it, whatever. It's like, that shit is this makes you the coolest guy in the room,
Yeah. Not to mention, if she's vegan, she might actually have a little bit more energy for you.
Yes,
so I think that affects your sex life as well. So
and if you have anal sex at all, you're like, you want as much lubricant as possible. I can't even pre-lube as possible.
I can't meet a Black
natural prelude.
Oh my God, this show. This show.
This is the Devil's Advocate. It's best cases for the guiltiest pleasures. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I love about what you said about this cool, like having validation from someone cool, because I think that's what we're doing with this show. I feel like we're the cool guys. We've always been the cool guys in our groups, in our circles, and people have looked up to us just as being cool. But I've never met people as cool as us with the same heightened sense of purpose, sense of being, and sense of unity. This is the founder, I think, or the leader, the captain of the Sea Shepherds, yo.
This guy
is so dope.
That's what I want to work for.
Doesn't he look like the leader of the Jurassic Park? What's his name? Don't he look just like
But I mean, when y'all see Seaspiracy, check this guy out, man. Everything that he says literally is like core beliefs, like so on the money, so human, y'all. Like, this is not just a movement. This is like all of us coming together and saying, how can we continue to live on this planet safely and without certain sacrifices. We will have to sacrifice certain things, y'all, if we don't. And I'm talking about I'm not talking about the 1%. Like, the 1% is feeding you the messages.
And the 1%, they're gonna live. They're gonna live until they die. Like, they're gonna live out their life and do exactly what they are doing. So,
and believe you me, when I talk about the 1%, I'm not just talking about rich people, because I also feel like there is 1% of people who don't give a about other life outside of their own in their own circle. Some of them just like their own family. Donald Trump.
And when we do talk about 1%, like, we actually, in terms of living standards, Western civilization, we are in the 1%, because most people don't live with a refrigerator and they don't live like how we do. So if you live in Western civilization, if you live in this time period, you are in the 1% of all history. you know. So you should not take for granted what we have and act like this is just ours to plunder and rape our oceans.
He just said it, y'all. He said we invented all these religions that put us at the center of our religions. We invented all these different ways to look at ourselves at the center. We could talk about this thing all night,
man. So I guess we should go into our last segment, which is pick your poison, where we get to choose what the topic is for the show.
It's time to pick your poison.
I'm making this hard for us. So we didn't get any comments from y'all this week on this episode to let us know any topics. We didn't have any topic suggestions. So we decided.
So did we decide?
No, we didn't decide. I mean, we decided we'll check. We'll choose something ourselves.
I think.
What are things that you want to talk about?
I think we should. You know what I think we should do? I think that we should give people a little more time if they're watching to send us some stuff.
Okay.
So maybe we give them like 24 more hours before we drop what the next topic is.
Okay.
So we'll give y'all 24 hours. You have our platforms. I am at Akron Watson. Everywhere. At Akron everywhere. I think you are at A.Shot
at A.Shot everywhere, and you can find us together jointly at S.I.H.K Brothers on all platforms as well.
And so if y'all have a topic that we should talk about next week, please hit us up on those platforms and let us know. But we're not going to pick the poison for next week for another 24 hours, so you have a chance to format the show for next week. And it's going to be better because we'll be more comfortable in our new format. Word. So there's that.
Shit. Well, how you want to finish it off, man? Seaspiracy. What's your final message to the people on Seaspiracy?
I say this. I say watch it. I would just say watch it objectively. Have an open mind to its topics and to the facts. And then I would also say watch the things that debunk it, because we did. I watched plenty of videos that tried to debunk that video, and I'll tell you that, like, the last thing I would say is that there are things in this world, there are forces in this world that are just built for money, and there are forces in this world that are just built for profit, any kind of profit at all costs, and the fish industry is a huge part of that. And as you discover it, I hope that you find a way to be active in stopping those sort of movements, because we are not powerless. There are so many different ways that we can let our voices be heard, where we are right now, the way that Seaspiracy did, the way that we all can continue to tweet and post and meme. And so after you see it, if you feel compelled, start talking about it. After you see some debunking of it, start talking about it. Let's keep having the conversation. The more we do, the more we might be able to change our futures, not just as human beings, but as co-pilots in this spaceship called Earth.
Word. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for joining us for our 13th episode of The Devil's Advocate, talking about Seaspiracy. I hope you watch it. Leave comments with us. Let us know what you think about it. And we will see you next week, y'all.
Peace out.
Peace out. Peace out. H-Town down.